That's right. And we're going to talk to Ms. Dantò, who's a human rights lawyer. She's the president of the Haitian Lawyers Association. She is a humanitarian. She's a historian. She's a dancer. She's a poet. She's an advocate. I mean, just all around. I have to first say that I want to thank Brother Dry Bones because he featured her on his show, and I thought that she would be suited for a show with Thor Radio, yours truly, and the rest of the team. I want to thank Layla for putting everything together. Anytime I ask for anything from my team, they get it done. I got some of the best women in the world. If I ask for it, they give the LOJ whatever I ask for, and they take care of me. So I got to thank the Creator for them. But I want to bring her to the show. I'm going to read her bio right quick for you. For those of you that don't know her, if you don't, you should, because she's one of the few. I know I beat the heck out of attorneys and lawyers that deserve it. I beat the hell out of the system when I see something good with the system. When I see those, and it's plenty of those that do their job in the system. I don't want people to think we anti. This culture and corruption, just like when I'm talking to you about presidents that are involved in the very things that Pookie and Ray Ray's in jail for 100 years, they're doing it on a mass level, and then they're taking it abroad, and they're enslaving and subjugating other countries and acting like somehow that their asses, the world belonged to them. These are some sick people. And this woman that's going to come in, Miss Èzili Dantò, okay, she's going to tell you about Haiti. And y'all know that, Sean Penn, bad boy Sean Penn, he was over there hanging out. And I always said, what the hell he doing over there? He up to something. And he over there in Haiti, over there in our African countries now, okay? Over there in Africa now, And she's going to tell you about the Clintons, all right? She's going to tell you about, y'all know Haiti had that big disaster, and they raised about $10 billion. Why they don't have doggone World Trade Centers over there being built, but no, they don't have anything. Why? Y'all know where that money goes. Y'all know it's just a big Ponzi scheme. All right? But our guest is going to fill you in on the news that you will not get in the national media. You will not. They will not tell you this. I believe they'll probably cut them off if they even mention any of the reality about what's really going on. All right? So I want y'all to welcome to Thor Radio Network Miss Èzili Dantò. Welcome to Thor Radio Network, sister. It's a pleasure to have you. I want to thank you for joining us and taking out your time, and I also appreciate your patience for letting us finish up the segment with my young masters who join me anytime we do a Friday show. So how are you today?
I'm good, Brother Sharif. Thank you for having me, and thank you to Brother Dry Bones and Sister Layla for making the connection.
Yes. So I'm not going to hold you up because you got some spiritual fire to you, and the things that I heard on Brother Dry Bones, and again, I thank him for having you and bringing you into light for the so-called underground community, which I think we're so above ground than most of what we see. But you shared a lot of things, and you had the attitude and you had the spirit and integrity of what we want to see in humanitarians and even in, an attorney, a lawyer. So just take your time and go ahead and introduce yourself and go into whatever direction and subject matter you like, and then I'll just fill in and we'll ride together.
Sure. Thank you. This is November, and so I always like to begin, because I am a performance poet, with a poem. Because November 18th was Vertieres, and Vertieres was the greatest battle, we think, that was ever fought. Can you hear me? Because I'm hearing an echo. Is that me or?
No, you're fine. I'll go ahead and maybe sometime I get feedback.
Okay. All right. So November 18th is Vertieres, and I run the Free Haiti movement, amongst other things. I'm the president and founder of the Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network. So there is a poem that we always send out for the last 10 years of the Free Haiti movement every November 18th. And November is an important date. Not only are the people in the streets in Haiti right now, if you really want to know what democracy looks like, if you really want to know what it is to fight empire, then Haiti would be the space for you to look at. Not the Sean Penn, white savior, white left, gay straight stuff, but what Èzili Dantò, that we put out. So this poem is by Michelle, and I'm going to just do some excerpt of it because November 18th is the last battle of the 13-year war of the Haitian Revolution, and it was the battle where we beat the African ancestors in Haiti, beat the French to finally become Haiti, to become the land of the amalgamated African tribes that did what Spartacus couldn't do, what the Christian Jesus Christ never denounced, which was slavery. So this is called The Rebel, and it's by Michelle Sanon, one of our members, and it's about Haiti. And it says, I was born of abject inhumanity with the noble destiny of carrying the sword of precious humanity into a new world cursed by the west storms and raped by the powers of greed, wickedness, and death. I'm the mother of martyrs, of survivors and overcomers. Alone, I faced the wrath of this world's powers. In March of 1802, the mighty venom could not cripple me. I stepped on the snake's head in May of 1803 and created forever the symbol of my pride, Haiti. How many really know my history? How many care? Alone with my hurting hands, I broke the first link of a mighty chain of human curse called slavery. Alone on the traitorous hill of the New World, I carried the cross of a race into a century. I've been chained, I've been robbed, I've been raped and stabbed, and I've fought back fearlessly, continuously. Alone, I have paid and paid and paid. I have paid the senseless price. I have paid the endless price. For my vital exploit, humanity at large enjoyed the benefits. Gratelessly, pompously, every bloody month of every bloody year, I have fought constantly with a burning spear, fear stuck in my chest. Sometimes it weakens me, but I always rise, high above the pain of the wickedness of powerful forces from near and far, to claim my dignity. I have friends who suck up my blood. When tired, I fall asleep. They set my house ablaze to scare my children away from my wounded heart. Though today I choose to stand in pride and love with my dear family to celebrate in harmony our common history. In the month of February, I was alone when in Vertieres I rose to face the devil. When hell broke loose, unleashing its fiery storms with waves of flames rushing to engulf me whole. Alone in the vast universe, I froze hell over. I walked on its ashes to create my own history. Nobody stood by my side. I alone remember it was the 18th day of a month called November. Brother Sharif.
I am here, sister. That was great. We enjoyed that. Now, that was a poem that you wrote? Yes.
It's written by one of our members, Michelle Sanon. I may do one of mine before the end if we have the time. But I want to, before we go on to Haiti, because of we struggle against the most powerful forces on planet Earth. It's important to tell you what we stand for at the Èzili Network, what our name means, what we do, and how long we've been in this struggle. I was born in Haiti. I get the echo again. I was born in Haiti, raised in the United States. No, that's fine. I went back to Haiti as an adult, as a lawyer for the first democratically elected president of Haiti, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, and that was 20 years ago in 1994. That was when we put together the Haitian Lawyers Leadership Network, and the purpose of it was to institutionalize the rule of law in Haiti and to protect the cultural, civil, and political rights of Haitians living at home and abroad. That was 20 years ago. I was kicked out of Haiti by the U.S. ambassador, who said that the only Haitians they wanted there was Haitians who would service USAID, the United States Agency for International Development, and their project to use Haiti as a space where it feeds American interests and American consumers, where our labor, our lands, and our resources were the reserves of the empire. Because I would not participate in that process, I was blacklisted, and I took the Haitian Lawyers Leadership, and from then on, we have been speaking the non-colonial narrative on Haiti. So that was 20 years ago, and we have gone through much. The Free Haiti movement came together. Okay, so from the 1994, going back to Haiti, I found a space where what was in me, which is what Èzili Dantò, the name of Èzili Dantò, in 1791, when the Haitian Revolution started, clearing called Bois Caïman, the Africans from everywhere in West Africa, all the way down to Angola, and even some in South Africa. We came from all over Africa. Haiti was the first space where the rapist, pedophile Columbus brought Africans to come and do the work for the Europeans who don't want to work with their hands. And so we worked in their sugar plantations. And we first came to the so-called New World in 1503. And by 1804, the Africans had won their independence. So we were the first place where they brought the Africans for the triangular trade, and the first place that broke our chains. We remember the ancestors. I'm a voodooist, and that's what that means. We remember the ancestors. And so the Free Haiti movement, no matter what's going on in Haiti, we always remember the feats and the dates of our ancestors and our culture, because our culture is our sword. And in that manner, the ethnic cleansing that's going on in Haiti at the moment, in that manner, the destruction of the bloodline of the Africans that's going on in Haiti with the Nojoki, I'll explain that in a minute, with the what Neely Fuller calls the activities where the white domination system uses all level of activity to push its white dominance. Now, August 14, 1791, the amalgamated tribes from everywhere in Africa that had been brought in chains to Haiti stood up and said liberty or death. At the Free Haiti movement, we are liberty or death. You can go on my website. You could see the work that we do. We will not be getting the publicity of the Sean Penns and the white saviors and all of those vampires and bloodsuckers, but because that is not their job to show who we are. They will only show the assimilated Negroes, the Haitians that we call restavex, which are their bafiotis, their collaborators, but they won't show Èzili Dantò. So that's why we thank you, Brother Sharif, for having us on. Now, before, what we do at the Free Haiti movement is to teach Haitians and Africans and all of the black women's children how the Africans in Haiti were able to beat white supremacy, white domination, and slavery, and their ethnic cleansing and colonialism. So it was a very, very important message, and we stand on that method. And it is called, it's at Bois-Caïman, where Boukman, who was a Jamaican who came to Haiti as an enslaved, who first led Boukman duty, who was the first to lead the revolution before he was beheaded, like today, like on a November day of November 7th, 1791, he was beheaded. That was Boukman. We remember Boukman. Remember, that is, give him member. Lift him up. That is our resurrection in Vodun. We remember, we call his name. We know that spirit doesn't die. And so today I say the name of Boukman. Boukman at Bois-Caïman was appointed just like in the old story of Asar in Ethiopia, where the woman, the African woman, would choose amongst her warriors who would lead. And Èzili Dantò was the irreducible essence of that black mother. That's the name I carry, the irreducible essence of that black mother. She's the feminine principle. She is the warrior mother. She was the one that first danced in the head of a historical Èzili Dantò, which was a woman named Cécile Fatima at Bois-Caïman. Cécile Fatima was possessed by the spirit of the mother, the warrior mother, Èzili Dantò, and Èzili Dantò chose amongst all the warriors that were present at that meeting at Bois-Caïman, Boukman, to lead the revolution. He was beheaded by the French on November 7th, but he left us so much. He left us the Boukman's prayer, which we don't have time to go through, but I would advise your folks who are ready about revolution to listen to Boukman's prayer. But the most important thing that they left us at Bois-Caïman was the template. And the template was set, the call at Bois-Caïman was in the language of the Kikongo, the language of Nzenga, the Queen Nzenga. It was in the language of the Angolans. It said, Mabamba, Kanga Mundele, Kanga Bafioti, Kanga Najoki, Kanga Yo. That means in English, the supreme master of breath, divine intelligence, will hold our hands to do this. Three things. We must kill, stop, whatever language you want to use, if you're, I don't know, whatever part you is, but basically, Kanga Mandele, Kanga Bafioti, Kanga Najoki. That's the template for taking out white supremacy or white domination. I don't use supremacy because they're not supreme. So white domination. So Kanga Mandele means we have to kill the white colonist. We have to kill his black collaborators, and we have to kill his Najoki. And Najoki means his evil forces. In the space of 1791, the Mandele, the white colonists, were the enslavers, the plantation holders, and all of their white agents. The black collaborators were their various overseers, and the Najoki at that time were their evil forces, which was their military, their media, their religion, their economic system of trading people, their Neely Fuller gives it, says it's their economy, education, entertainment, media, military, labor, law, politics, religion, sex. We add today for Haiti that their Najoki is also the charitable industrial complex, the prison industrial complex, and the rest, and of course their religion and their humanitarian aid. Those are all evil forces that the European used to hide their tyranny and their terror and their need to suck the blood of the black woman's child. So once that is what we teach. We teach that in order to win, we have a template left by the ancestors, and that template means we have to stop the European. Well, obviously it's the Eurasians right now. Obviously, there's no European. It's one. There's no European colony. It's the Eurasians. So we have to stop that continent and its imperial culture and its imperial desire to take over everything that is of the black woman or of the black and brown. As you all know, the Dogon structure of the world is that the Eurasian continent is at the bottom of the world, and north is south, and south is north. So they are at the bottom in the south, but they have turned the world around to make themselves at the north. So essentially, that's what we teach at the Free Haiti movement, and it's the beginning of where we start today. At the no matter what's going on, what we're fighting at the Free Haiti movement, what we have 6 things every year that to remember and to lift up, and one is, for instance, the August 14, 1791, when the Haitian Revolution began, and all of the various templates that we were left by the ancestors of how to beat the Europeans. The other is what went wrong with the Haitian Revolution. What did we do? What did Haiti do that led us to the assassination of our founding father? And by the way, our founding father of Haiti is not Toussaint Louverture, but Jean-Jacques Dessalines. You won't hear about him because the European loves to bring up Toussaint Louverture as Haiti's founding father, or patron, or voyer, the mulatto sons of France. But what we teach is that Toussaint Louverture was a great general. However, he was an assimilated Negro who so loved the French that they were able to betray him. We teach, for instance, that our energy goes 2 ways. Either when you look at the African struggle, you look either at Martin or Malcolm. So for your audience who are Americans with American history and intellectual history, to understand Haiti and all of the African struggles, it's always between integration with injustice or separation. And the integrationist always wins because the European always wants that. They always want you to turn the other cheek and do their regular 3 sermons of, hope for the afterlife. And so Martin Luther King, great that he was Toussaint Louverture. Jean-Jacques Dessalines was Malcolm X. So we have those 2 energies in our system as a people. And it's critically important that we understand how, in the next round of this war, to integrate those 2 energies and issue from the Malcolm X or the Jean-Jacques Dessalines energy. And to do that, we cannot allow the mulatto sons of France or the mulattoes in the Middle East to in any way speak for us, because that was of Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Haiti's founding father. I'll stop now, and you can just go ahead and redirect me where you want to go. I've basically set up the parameters for where we issue from.
Yeah, and that was fantastic. Now, I noticed that, it was in 1791 you spoke of, and the U.S. Constitution was 1787, ratified in 1788. That's a short time. That's 3 years after the establishment of this U.S. corporation.
That's right.
Now,
that's right. And yes.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, sis.
Well, no, Brother Sharif, the difference, this is important for Africans to understand. Haiti stood diametrically opposed to the United States of America. The United States of America is a white settler country built up in slavery. Its founders were created in order to maintain the enslavement of Africans and the rape of black women, so that they can create more capital for themselves. That mindset has not ever changed because it's never been confronted. So 1776 was when the white settlers in America broke from their monarchical ruler of Britain. But 1771 was the beginning, 19 1776, and 1791 was the beginning of the Haitian Revolution. Haiti, so the United States was the first free, independent so-called nation in the so-called New World. Haiti was the second independent nation in the so-called New World. Obviously, I'm not going to deny my ancestors by saying that, because we know that blacks are original to planet Earth and were in the Americas before the Europeans came. And had
Thank you.
nations.
Can you say that one more time? Could you say that
came.
one more time for me? Say that one more time for me, sister.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Blacks are original to planet Earth and were in the Americas before the Europeans came. As a matter of fact, we're in the Americas before the Chinese came, the so-called Mongolians that we call Native Americans. We were there first. And that history is not told. We speak of it because when Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Haiti's founding father, won the war against the Europeans, he said, I have avenged America. Now, he used that word. Obviously, you know, that continent had a different word, different. Okay, but just for people to understand, I'm just going to keep the colonial names for a minute now. So Jean-Jacques Dessalines said that all Haitians, all Haitians, shall be known by the appellation of black. He said it because he understood that black are original to planet Earth, that Haiti was a sacred highland that blacks owned before the so-called Native Americans came to be. So you know, right now in Oklahoma and other areas, the Five Nations have used white supremacy to push out the original blacks on planet Earth and take their property and take their land. But the time has come because Èzili Dantò's energy is here. The time has come for the black woman's child to rise again. And in that way, that is what we represent. That's what we are. What's critically important in context of the Arabs, because before the European slave trade, there was the Arab slave trade, and that went on for 1,200 years. And its main purpose was the rape of black women and making eunuchs or killing the black male. North Africa is the evidence. And today we say to all Africans that your time has come. You have no excuse now not to know your history or not to know who you are and not to understand that you are connected to the biosphere, that all is energy and the ancestors are here with you to stand. And we must, as we say today, on this month of Bookman and Vertieres, as I said at Vertieres, right, one of the things that to understand, every year Haitians celebrate January 1st as their Independence Day. But we at the Free Haiti Movement always remind everyone that it was in November 29th that Haiti declared its independence. The reason I point this out to you is because we are in November, and we always remember who the ancestors are. Why am I saying November 29th was when Haiti declared its independence? Because November 18th was the last battle where we beat Rochambeau's troops. You know, Rochambeau was the French general who brought in, dogs and from Cuba to destroy the Africans who were fighting. And what's interesting is that in 2004, when the Europeans came back and took out my client, President Jean-Bertrand Aristide, they called their troops in 2004 Rochambeau. Rochambeau was the general that we beat in 1803 of November 18th. Now, but in November 29th, if you look, that declaration came straight after the fighting for liberty, and it was the black generals that signed that declaration, because it was black generals that was at Vertieres. It wasn't the mulatto sons of France. It wasn't Pétion or Boyer. They were the ones that actually killed Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And so we have to understand about the mulattoes and these folks who can't decide whether they're white or black, and
right.
the role they played in the destruction of our sovereignty.
Right. Well, duplicity is always the word of the day when it comes to those type of things. I want to shift gears a little bit and let's travel over to Haiti, and let's talk about the Dominican Republic and Haiti situation where there was deportation and what's going on over there. I got a friend that goes over to the Dominican Republic. I want you to talk a little bit about that, and then let's switch over there and go with the Sean Penn and the Clintons and their trespass or interference into that nation, and what is the motivating factor behind it. And I'll just hint, gold, copper, silver, oil, things of that nature, if you would.
Okay, very good. So in Dominican Republic, so in 1804, when the African tribes in Haiti won our independence, we won it for the entire island. So we won it for the entire island. And the island was called Hayti by the Taínos, who the Christopher Columbus terrorists had destroyed, and then they brought the Africans in. So today, the east side of the island is called Dominican Republic. How did that come to be? You have to understand that once Haiti won its independence, the Europeans, and especially the Americans, whose whole economy was based on slavery, were horrified. So they had a embargo, like the Cuban embargo they've had on Cuba since 1963. Well, they had one on Haiti from 1804, when we declared our independence and became independent, till like 1862, when Lincoln needed Africans to help him win against the South. So that's when they actually finally recognized Haiti. But the South, the Confederacy, recognized a separatist movement that was on our east, and that was Dominican Republic. But how did the Dominican Republic come to be, and why is it that today they are the bane of our existence and they're constantly destroying Haiti? What you have to understand is that once these Africans, our ancestors, won their independence, they were in the middle of a sea of enslavers all around Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica, Bahamas. They were all slave territories. They all had slavery. And so Haiti was standing alone in this sea of enslavement. And so the Europeans who owned those islands, Jamaica would be English, Trinidad would be French, or the Spanish, they were all trying to destroy Haiti. And so they surrounded us. They embargoed us. We could not do any trade. They destroyed the Haitian Navy. But one of the things that they did was France was trying to come back to Haiti, and Haiti had been, Haiti, the whole island, was divided in two. So the east side was Spanish colonialism, and the west side was French colonialism. But when Haiti won, they took out all colonialism and the Europeans. But that east side had some French general who would not surrender for a while. Anyways, the bottom line was, you know how we had the earthquake in January 12, 2010? Well, there was a big earthquake in Haiti in 1842. And at that time, the Europeans who were trying to come back, now the French tried to come back, they brought like a, armada with like cannons, 300 cannons they came, because the Europeans, you have to understand, these vampires have no sense of forgiveness. I mean, they inculcate that in black women of the church and inculcate that in Africans, but it's not in their nature. They don't know how not to be conquerors and murderers and genociders. So they would not allow for Haiti to be free. So the French kept coming back.
And essentially, 2 years after our independence, our founding father, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, was assassinated by the mulatto sons of France that he had made a pact with. Now, remember, those French came with those mulattoes in their ships to bring Haiti back into slavery, but Jean-Jacques Dessalines and the other warriors had made a pact with the mulattoes, and they stayed away from Vertieres. They didn't fight at Vertieres, that last fight, the mulatto sons of France, but they did conspire with the Europeans and their spies to assassinate Jean-Jacques Dessalines. And once that was done in 1806, France came back, and Pétion, who became the mulatto who became the president, and Boyer, his successor, agreed to an independence debt to France. So even though we had paid as Africans 300 years of slavery, where black women were treated like, animals and breeded like mares to make property for the Europeans to enjoy sugar and gold and so forth and all the bling that they love. In 1822, the French came back to Haiti with this independence debt that we paid. Now, that debt, the other side of the island, the east side of the island, which is now Dominican Republic, was a Spanish territory, and they felt that they had no right. I mean, they were not responsible for paying that debt to France, and they were right, of course. So there became a separatist movement where the Spanish were saying the other side of the island of Haiti to the east, and that began this whole thing. And by 1842, with the earthquake that had happened, and with the constant Europeans trying to come back, the French trying to come back on one side, the Spanish trying to come back on the other side, and then you had the Haitian mulatto president agreeing to pay an independence debt, which then caused a lot of friction internally, locally, domestically, especially on the east side. That east side had warriors who decided to become separate from Haiti. The Europeans immediately recognized them, and the Dominican Republic was born in 1844. Since then, Dominican Republic, it was the country. The Dominican Republic is like having the Confederacy win, right? Because they asked Spain to come back, and so that's who they are. They deny the fact that they're black, that they have any African lineage. They call themselves Indio or Indian. We know the Indians were destroyed by the Europeans. That's what they call themselves, sure. Indio. If you ask a very, very dark Dominican what they are, they'll say they're Indio. So they're a bunch of confused Negroes who hate Africanness, their own Africanness, and try to be European. And then you have at the top this oligarch of white Spanish folks who pushes that. And so recently, not recently, in our whole history, the Europeans have used the Dominican side to contain the African liberation of Haiti. And so their latest ethnic cleansing is to send back, like they just recently sent back 80,000 Haitians. They've denationalized them, and they put them at the border. That's what's going on, and that's what the Dominican Republic is about. So you have to look at it in the context of, like, further going back. If you remember, the Moors had conquered the Spanish in the 7 AD, and so the Spanish believe, they're scared of the black hordes, and so that side is the continue. So 1492, it wasn't just the Columbus discovering Haiti and bringing the European profit over people ideology to the new so-called New World, but it was also the fall of Grenada over there in the Iberian Peninsula, which was what is today known as Spain, Portugal, and southern France. As you know, Africans and the Moors had conquered that area. And so the Spanish fell in 1492. And so that's the same Spanish were on the island, came to the island of Hayti, and they remember the conquest of the Africans. So that's what that whole Dominican thing is about in Haiti. And so they keep trying to get rid of being African, but they need Haitian labor to run their sugar plantations, to run their construction companies, and so forth. So that's the basis of that issue.
Okay. So what brought this situation to where the Dominicans was deporting Haitians?
Right. So we have two islands on this. Two countries on this one island that used to be Haiti. One is European, the other one is African. So the Dominic. Okay, so just look at it like that, right? And so they're at our border. Their whole purpose is to contain the African liberation movement, right? So, the United States, with various so-called theories, like, so it's sort of like that divine right of the king bull that the monarchies of Europe had used, but they used something called like the Monroe Doctrine or Manifest Destiny. They're like, okay, all the Caribbean nations and all this space is ours. We want Europeans out of this space. So in 1915, the United States invaded invaded Haiti. They stayed for 19 years. During that time that they invaded Haiti and stayed for 19 years, they tried to re-enslave Haitians. That was the United States of America. Haitians fought back, and they were trying to get us into plantation kind of space and doing sharecropping like they had the African Americans doing in the South of America. And Haitian resisted. So what they did was they transported Haitian labor to the Dominican Republic. That was 1915 to 1934 was the U.S. occupation of Haiti. It lasted 9 years. By 1929, they were transporting Haitian males to the Dominican Republic. And remember, the Dominican Republic is like a European territory, right? To work in sugar plantations to service this colony of the United States, and that's what Dominican Republic is. The Dominican Republic, for you to understand, is like the Israel of the Caribbean for the United States, right? So, so recently in 2013, the Supreme Court of the Dominican Republic came up with a law that said that all Haitians, basically what it said was all Haitians who've been living in Dominican Republic are migrants and illegal, and therefore they are illegal immigrants, and they're subject to deportation. Now, what they're talking about is those Haitians that the United States had taken from Haiti back in 1915, 1929, 1934, and put in plantations, sugar plantation, to work for the global corporatocracy, whether it was Dole or whoever it was that they're working for, the sugar companies. Now, so what's happening now is that sugar plantations are not as big as they used to be. The law of the Dominican Republic was that if you, just like the United States, if you're born in the United States, no matter what your parents' status is, you are a U.S. citizen. So if you were born in the Dominican Republic, whether or not your parents came in as migrants to work as long as you were born in the Dominican Republic, you were a Dominican citizen. This law of 2013 denationalized citizens going back to 1929. It said that if you were born in the Dominican Republic going back to 1929 and your parents were not Dominicans, if one of your parents were not Dominicans, then you're not Dominican. So what that means is that all those sugar workers who were brought into the Dominican Republic through contracts between the Haitian government, who was a puppet government of the United States, and the Dominican government, which was a client state of the United States, by contract, and then who spend their lives since 1929, 86 years, working in these horrific conditions of plantation economy in the Dominican Republic to make the Dominican Republic rich. And their children and their property right now is up for grabs by Dominicans because they have denationalized them, and that's what's going on.
Wow. Whoa. That was huge. Okay, so let's go over to the Sean Penn. And we know, yes, gold, and the reason why. And I heard China was over there as well. Or they made some visits over there. Been over there. Is that true?
Now that's why. Well, yes. Now this is why we have to understand what I said before about we are original to planet Earth, right? So that the Chinese did come to the to the America, before the Europeans, right? Because that's who the Native Americans are, right? So don't be fooled, because that's what they are. And now they're all over the Africa. So listen, World War II, the Eurasian tribes come together, 5 of them, to beat Hitler and Italy. And the 5 right now are, this is the post-World War II powers, and they are China, Russia, England, United States, and France. Those are the 5 veto powers at the United Nations. Now remember, there's about 191, 192 nations in the world, but 5 have veto power over 192 people, nations. And that's what they call themselves, democracy. Okay?
Wow.
So we have to understand that's what the United Nations is about, right? So the General Assembly with all these Negroes talking and talking and talking, at the end of the day, 5 nations can veto whatever they say.
Wow.
Right? And that's the Security Council of the United Nations, and it's made up of Russia, China, the United States, France, and England. Those are the post-World War II powers. Now, the Cold War, as you all know, was because those 5 nations were the European ones, the Nordic ones, were fighting with the Eastern ones, which was the Chinese and the Russians. That was the Cold War. That was 40 years. And they didn't fight it on their territory. They fought it on my territory, on my people's territory, in Haiti and the global South, okay, in Africa. That's who died for their Cold War. And today these Eurasians are fighting in Syria, they're fighting in Afghanistan. All of it is about jostling for power. And it's time that the African woman's child stood up and said, and use its own power and talk about real justice and real democracy. So essentially, we have the UN, which is a tool now of empire, right? They are in Haiti. They've been in Haiti since 2004. Now, what you have to remember is that Haiti has the least. Now, of course, watching the news, you would think you would think it's not true. But actually, Haiti has less violence than the Dominican Republic. And you know how many, white boys go to Dominican Republic to sleep with, they've made the Dominican women the 4th most trafficked prostitutes on the planet.
Wow.
Okay? Look it up. All right? And that's what they want to do to Haiti. This is what they call development. Now, you all know that Cuba and Castro in 1963, rejected that stuff and said, we don't want our women to be your prostitutes and your semen vessels and your whatever. We're going to, we can't do this with you. Okay? The European, you have to understand, he is a degenerate, but he constantly wants our sex because there's something empty within him that he's trying to fill. and he fills it off of our pain. You have to understand that as an African. He fills it with your pain. What he does is he lives off your pain. He lives off your suffering. So black woman's child feeds this, and don't think of the European in terms of like a person. Think of the energy. It's an energy. That energy feeds off of black pain, black sex, black adulation, and so he seeds it into us. First, he creates it, and he seeds it, and he harvests it in us. So if you want to break out of this energy, you must not feel loss. You must refuse to feel it. You must give it back to him. And that's what we do at the Free Haiti movement. We give it back to him. So essentially, we're always dealing as Africans on different levels, on more than one or two levels. So as you hear me, those who are already ascended need to, hear what is not said, what the energy is. So essentially, that's what the Europeans need to destroy Haiti because of what it stands for and what it is. Also because if you look at geographically, there is a vibration coming together. Haiti, if you look for the blue pyramids, you'll see that there are pyramids underneath the island of Haiti. There are pyramids underneath the island of, at the end there in Cuba, going to the Yucatan, Mexico. There are pyramids underneath the water. The Europeans have found all this thing out with his satellites, and now he's here, because he needs to tap into this energy. But understand as Africans, if you stand within yourself, this energy is something that is in you already. And once Africans actually understand that, we will not need to be talking about we need to organize ourselves. And I have to say that it's something that always bothers me when I hear conversations about this unity, because Jean-Jacques Dessalines taught us that you need 9 people of like mind and power to take down this European. Because, as the Nation of Islam, I would say, actually teaches, it's true. Most people cannot step up to evil and not be evil or succumb to evil. That is a fact. So, and I have been a warrior in this fight for 3 decades. Betrayed, seen everything. And I can tell you that only few people can stand up to evil, not become evil, or not be seduced by evil. And that few, maybe it is 5% of the population, like the Nation of Islam says. And so that's all we need to get rid of what we need to get rid of, because most people will just follow when the energy is of that 5% is enough, which is one of the reasons I answered the call of Sister Layla to come here. Because as I looked at her, because this is the time of the black woman. This is the time of the black male. This is the time of the parents of the universe, because the biosphere has changed. Whatever allowed the energy of the European to come to power is gone. He knows it, and that's why he's so desperate. So this is where we are. We have, the European works through deception and division, and that's why you have this illusion of inclusion with like the Republicans and the Democrats, but they all service the same vampire, Wall Street, right? They all service that profit over people, corporate welfare. Though they talk about how socialism and communism is like some kind of demonic thing, there is no way on planet Earth the European would be where he is without corporate welfare and without the destruction and use of the black woman. So they're all into corporate welfare. So that's essentially why you have they have studied human nature, and they've studied how dumbed down our mind is and our desire. Actually, the human nature is the desire to get along, the desire to it's like very instinctive in us, this desire to just get along and not have confrontation. Because they understand that's like 85% of the people, they have capitalized on that. Since they went into the Timbuktu archives and learn about how our ancestors can actually observe 29,000 years of a sun year. They have studied all of our work, and now they're using it against us. So that's basically what they've done. But we must understand that it is also because Africans don't want to produce themselves. They don't want to produce the dark-skinned, melanated African. That is why the European has gained this foothold. And so it is up to us to decide whether we want to be the children of the sun, or we want to be the children of the vampires who come out at night and who are animated by a different value system. That's where we stand now. The white saviors.
So tell me about the Clintons that are in Haiti and what they're doing there, and what are they trying to accomplish? And you said China was involved. Is it the gold? Is it the oil? Is it the copper? Is it the silver? How rich is Haiti?
Okay. All right. So Haiti is rich in different ways. Okay. So in the way it's rich to me, it's because of the spiritual connection of the ancestors going back to the Le Marassa, Le Mo, Le Mystère, the beginning of time, out of Primordial Space Game 2 and all of that. For the Europeans, what they see is Haiti is when Pangea existed, when the universe was like one island, one landmass, before it broke. When it broke, at the bottom of Haiti is three tectonic plates. It's like the tectonic plates that's in the Middle East. When those tectonic plates rub each other, at the deepest part of the earth, they bring up oil, they bring up all sorts of metals. Now, Haiti is over 1 billion years old. It was the oldest landmass of the Americas before the let's say, what the landmass of Canada and the United States existed. Haiti existed with Cuba. That landmass is so old that that volcanic eruption is mountains after mountains, and those mountains have something called iridium, which is a metal that is used in satellites that has properties that are heat resistant, that can be used in outer space. The Europeans want that. Also, like I said, because of the tectonic plates underneath Haiti, Haiti stands between like South America, North America, the Pacific, and the Atlantic. And so you have these tectonic plates, and you have this rubbing. So there's massive oil. The Europeans are strategically denying that Haiti has oil because Haitians keep fighting, and they have not subdued the population. But they have finally acknowledged that Haiti has $20 billion worth of gold. Now, Haitian geologist says that's like $100 billion worth of gold. If you remember, Haiti, there's this little small passage between Cuba and Haiti. It's called the Windward Passage, and it's where the shipping lines are. The United States has Guantanamo Bay there on Cuba, and across from there, they've always wanted since the 1800s something called Mole Saint Nicolas, which is a Haitian across from Guantanamo. So they want to control that shipping line. What Africans have to understand is that if you look at the world map, the Europeans control the world by controlling the shipping lines and the coastlines, which is why they had attacked Vietnam, which is why they want Korea. And which is why they created Israel. It's because of the trade routes that gets from one space to another.
That's right.
And so Haiti has that space. Okay, so So that will make you understand further, for instance, why Syria is so important, right? Because it's right above Israel, and it goes out into the Mediterranean. And if Syria makes an agreement with the Pakistans and have a pipeline going through, they will circumvent the monopoly of Israel to do the pipelines going of gas going from the east to the west. So it's not anything about religion. You all got to get rid of that religion bullshit, because as Dr. Henry Clark says, the murderous male cults and so on are just used by the Europeans to hoodwink Africans, because Africans are people in general, but mostly Africans of the world, because we are a spiritual people and we tend to gravitate to something that talks about spirit. But that's because people are not listening to leaders like us at the Haitian Lawyers Leadership and so forth, because the mass media marginalize us. But anyways, so you have the Clintons coming into Haiti. Effectively, so we win our independence in 1804. By 2004, that's our 200th anniversary. We've spent 200 years trying to keep the Europeans off our back, fighting them, supporting dictatorship, and whatever Bafiotti is the black collaborators who want to sell off Haiti on behalf of the Europeans. Today, Haiti is made up of this. We have an oligarch. That oligarch is 5% of the Haitian population, but not 5%. It's 0.05. It's less than 1% of the Haitian population. There's 10 million Haitians. The mercenary families in Haiti are 0.5%. So they're less than 1%. They're 0.5% of the population. They are Middle Eastern. We call them the new Canaan. Like if you look at old Canaan, it was made up of folks from Israel, Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan. Those guys came about 100 years ago, 70 years ago. They were fleeing Muslim. They were Christian or Sephardic Jews fleeing something in that area. The Europeans made sure they got to Haiti because they knew what the Arabs had done to the African woman's children. And so they wanted to destroy Haiti, and they brought the Arabs in. The Arabs right now in Haiti, the Israelis, are the billionaires of the Caribbean. You won't hear this anywhere. You won't hear this analysis anywhere because they'll always talk to you about the Haitian politicians. But we have to look at the people behind the politicians, just like in America. In America, we have to look at who's behind, Mr. Obama. So in Haiti, we have this 0.5% of the population who is made up of folks like, I will say their names, Biggio, Merv, Accra, Brandt, Madsen. These families are mercenary. They came to Haiti. We gave them asylum, right? Because Haiti was the land of free. Anyone who was fleeing from tyranny, we gave asylum to. But because they're white, because they're light, they were used by the Europeans as our overseers. And today, they're bringing in to us, for instance, while they're having elections right now in Haiti, while we call them selections at the Haitian Lawyers Leadership, while they have these selections, now remember in South Africa, after South Africa got rid of apartheid, the army there, the white mercenary army there, started to peddle their trade globally. They became the security forces all over the planet, the Black Waters. So the private military contractors, for instance, are the ones that help the United States in Afghanistan and all that spaces, right? So those private military contractors are white, racist, apartheid folks who have gone global on planet Earth, these Europeans, who, if you just look at the folks, the American militarized police, and imagine the militarized police and death squads of South Africa. Now that South Africa no longer is going to use them, they put together themselves and they started fighting as mercenaries all over Africa. They call themselves, like, for instance, the Executive Outcomes. Look up Executive Outcomes, people, and you'll see how they fought in Sierra Leone. And these mercenaries will fight for empire, right? They have, they could be, they fight, and they'll get paid. For instance, in Sierra Leone, the government hired them to come in. They had Air Force power. They came in, these white mercenaries, and they paid them in their diamonds. I'm sure some of you have seen these movies about blood diamonds. Okay, they're in Haiti right now, these guys.
Wow.
And just recently they were given. Okay, it's called Heysel. I think it's on October 23, 2015. While all Haitians were riveted to this rock and roll of selections and elections, whatever, the puppet U.S. government in Haiti signed a contract with this organization that's called Israel Homeland Security that will privatize Haiti's ports, all Haiti's ports and customs. So these
wow.
former Israeli military, now they are at the border of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. And we wonder, as we study Sudan and as we study Libya and as we study the East Congo, if the reason that they're pushing these Haitian refugees into Haiti is not because they want to create another space in Haiti that they're going to say, oh, we need to give these Dominicans of Haitian descent that are stateless now, that are being pushed into Haiti, a homeland. And normally what the Europeans do when they want your resources is they push Africans into refugees into a particular place, and then they declare that place independent, and then they own the resources there. And so we suspect that's what they're doing with the Dominican refugees at that border, because the Mossad and the Israeli mercenaries are now given a contract. You guys can look at it on my website. We call it like the barbarians have invaded. And they put this blonde European chick to sign their contract. Her name is Eva Perled. We have it on our website. While people in Haiti are all focused on these selections that's going on for the next Haitian president. So the white saviors, as we call them, people like Bill and Hillary Clinton, and then their Jewish, whatever his name is, Sean Penn, they're all related and connected to this idea of stealing your resources, plundering what you have, but then at the same time calling themselves humanitarians, just like the missionaries did back in slavery time.
Right. Good point. I'm going to ask you one more question. And then I'm going to let you give out your information. I'm going to go to my panel. I know Tiffany probably has a lot to say. She focuses and dabbles in international law and news. You're an immigration lawyer. You're licensed in New York.
No. I'm a human rights lawyer. I'm a human rights lawyer.
Gotcha. Human rights lawyer. And you practice law in Connecticut and New York, I believe.
Yes.
I
I'm
want
a member
to
of the New York.
ask you. Gotcha. Give me your opinion on the current state of our legal society right now, and why. Well, I'll just go at the end. I'll go to part two of that question.
The legal society? I don't know if we have one. Well, remember what I said before. The law is an instrument of empire.
That's right.
And the days of Plessy versus Ferguson and Brown versus all those days when folks thought, those are over. Those days are over. The European has blatantly used the law to maintain his supremacy, and I can tell you personally as a lawyer, I've searched the world looking for lawyers who might want, not because I'm looking for the white man system to provide us with justice, but just for the PR of it. For instance, in 2010, right after the earthquake, the United Nations. Remember, you guys were talking about it before I came on. That the thing about gold, guns, and germs, or God, or gun, oil, and drugs, which is what the European is about. And Haiti, they brought us cholera, and that was the UN troops, right? Haiti had no cholera. They brought us that cholera, and I spent many years since 2010 to now looking for a deep pocket law firm to take on the UN. But because most of them are working for a state government or getting money for a state government or being financed by a state government. So that's where we are as lawyers. I don't use that word because what I do is what I do. My authority comes from the ancestors and who and what we are. But as a lawyer, I understand very well that the law is an instrument, and it's being used to destroy my children. And we have, 2 million people in prison, and black males are corralled and ephemetized and put into these spaces to serve as white males and guards.
Mm-hmm.
That's who they are. That's what they do.
True. That's true. I want to ask you about Israel right quick and the so-called Jews over there. Netanyahu, I read an article prior to you coming on and wanted you to give me your dicta on Israel, Netanyahu, and Russia and what's going on right quick. If you take a couple of minutes on that, and then I'm going to open up the lines for you.
Sure. Okay. Israel was created to spread American imperialism. It's nothing to do with religion. That's just a cover, just like in Haiti they have the humanitarian cover. Israel is between Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, and the road to China and India. The United States felt it needed a space there. Remember what I said also about the Mediterranean, which goes out in, which is this trade route to Europe. The United States wants to control the trade routes because that's how powers control the planet. And so Israel is the road where they control the planet by controlling what goes to the east. That's why they had to destroy Libya, because Gaddafi was sending his oil through Egypt, across the Red Sea, to China, India, and Russia. Now the United States have destroyed that route by destroying Libya. So that's all I can say. Israel is a space that is used to control, for European control, for American control of the Arab power. Remember, right? Since the time of the what do you call those things? Oh, darn, I went the word. Since the time of the Christian, God, what is that thing called when they were fighting each other, the Arabs and the Christians? Since that time. That's it.
What did you say,
not the yes, it was the Inquisition, but the battle between them when the Europeans would go there and fight the Muslims, and the Europeans lost. Anyways, since that time, the Europeans have been at it with the Arabs, but the Americans made a deal with Saudi Arabia, which is the worst human rights violator and the most. They say that Africa has the worst, most backward, most poverty-stricken people, but the facts are that it is the Arab world that has the worst poverty, the worst health issues in the world. But because the European used Saudi Arabia, they just leave it alone and don't talk about it, and it's because both the Arabs and the Europeans are about keeping down Africa. But that's over with. That's over with because I exist and you exist, and we're done with all of this stuff. Our ancestors made a line for us. So Netanyahu and the Jews and all of that stuff, it's about the mulattoes. Remember, when Kemet and Ethiopia, for some reason, connected with their own self, which is lighter skin, Turkish, Phoenician, who were Africans who had gone into that space. But somehow, you remember, they talk about the Neanderthals in that area not having died off. So for some reason, that group of people intermarried with Neanderthals, and there's something wrong with them. There's something different about them. There's something very brutal and non-empathetic about these individuals. They're not like you and I who feel the pain of other people. So that is what happened in that area. So as Dr. Henry Clark talks about the high coast, when they invaded Kemet, they created this beginning, or it seems like this beginning of a new paradigm on planet Earth, a paradigm where the black woman's child was not as valued as the lighter-skinned child of the high coast in the Middle Eastern European. And until we face that issue, we're not going anywhere.
Indeed. All right. I'm going to, Sister, why don't you provide them with your email address and stuff before I go to my Thor team and take a few questions.
Very good.
We end at
Thank
3.
you. So those of you
yes.
who want to be warriors, who want to learn, who want to, my email is erzilidanto@yahoo.com. My email is erzilidanto@yahoo.com. But it's not good to really I get 400 emails a day. The best way for you to start is to go to our website, which is EziliDantò.com. That's EziliDanto.com. EziliDanto.com. We have a project in Haiti, for instance, that's a solar project. We're We have solar electrified 2 Haitian villages. We're hoping to do the entire planet. The entire country. That's our goal. And we're trying to give clean water to folks, solar-powered clean water, and cultural education to Haitians, and connecting them with folks like you guys. So that's our project, one-to-one, of trying to do that. So EziliDantò.com is our website. You will see all of our latest coverings with regards to the elections and what we're doing, and all of that work. And then if you want to see some video of me as a performance poet, or me as an interview talking about the raping of Haitian children by UN troops and all of that other stuff, go to our Èzili Dantò, that's Ezili Dantò YouTube channel. Subscribe, help us get this message across. Become a warrior for the black woman's children. That's it. Thank you very much, Brother Sharif.
Thank you. Tiffany, Layla, I have a question for Sister Èzili.
I have several. I know, I've read reports, and thank you so much for filling in a lot of the blanks that I can't get information from anywhere else. That was just amazing. Thank you so much. But I was reading a report about how the U.S. is actually training Dominican Republic troops. Are they behind the ethnic cleansing? Are they behind the deportation and the denaturalization of the Haitians and sending them?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Good to talk to you, sister. Yes, there are 70,000. Okay, both Haiti and Dominican Republic have the same amount of population. 10,000, essentially. But Haiti has like 11,000 militarized police trained by the U.S., but the Dominican Republic, who has been conquered since 1963 by the United States, has 70,000 troops. Those troops have nothing else to do except guard Haitian plantation workers in the sugar companies or Haitian workers at the border doing in the sweatshop free trade zones.
Got it. That's kind of what I figured. The other thing I want to ask about is I know that there's a lot of gold there. I mean, I've been doing a little bit of reading about it, and I was also reading that Tony Rodham, Hillary's brother, Hillary Clinton's brother, has a mining operation. I mean, just because we have an election or a selection or a pseudo-election, whatever you want to call it, because it's not really an election here either.
Right.
I was just wondering if you could expand on that for the audience, because I don't think that they understand that, and they also in the Vita connection between Jeb Bush, the Clintons, and Claudio Orisno, the 12 years fraud dude going to prison. I mean, I just don't think that people understand that these people in power have their fingers in every single thing, and they steal from you to commit these demonic acts. So I
think you said it. Yeah, I think you said it all, sister. I don't even know if I need to answer that question because you're right. So in Haiti, well, the thing about Africans, I mean, is that a lot of us are dumbed down. In America, a lot of Africans are dumbed down to, like, actually say that Bill Clinton, because he plays some saxophone, is the first black president, And, the European vampires actually use that stuff. They use that stuff because, listen, remember what I said, right? The adulation of black people is an asset for them. It feeds their vampire energy. So once Bill Clinton was fed that energy, it doesn't matter that this guy is the one responsible for drug-on wars and the military-industrial complex that's put all of our black males and now so many of our black women in prison. So
that's right.
In Haiti, right, he spent his honeymoon in Haiti with his vampire wife at some point in time. And fell in love, I guess, with the adulation he got from these stupid Haitians, and wanted some more of it. So he came back after the earthquake. And the reason why he came back after the earthquake is because at that time the United States was trying to use Brazil, which had, like, as you all know, the largest black population in this hemisphere, but they put them in these favelas, which are like ghettos, where they kill them and feed them with drugs and hunger and desperation and criminalize them. So they brought in Brazil to come into Haiti supposedly to tame us, right? Because we're untamed. Apparently Brazil couldn't do the work, so they brought in Bill Clinton and his finessing bullshit. So he came in like 2009 into Haiti to do what he had just done to the tsunami people who had like this big tsunami in the Pacific where, there was a lot of damage done, and he was the envoy for the UN. He loved that role so much he decided to do it in Haiti, because what they do is they collect money from unsuspecting Americans and unsuspecting world citizens, and then they put it in their pockets in their foundations, and they do their children's wedding and give, Chelsea Clinton a $9 million penthouse in New York. So, or they feed it to Mrs. Clinton's campaign. This is something that's been going on since Rhodes and, since, what's that guy's name, the Rhodes Scholar guy. the Europeans, when they do their foul deed, then they will do a foundation that says that they're actually, helping people, but mostly it's about them making connections for themselves. And so Hillary Clinton's brother, who's a deadbeat dad, just look at it, right? You can just Google it, right? Anthony Rodham went to the Clinton Foundation to hunt for business deals. And the Clinton Foundation at that time in 2010, after the earthquake, was collecting billions of millions of dollars. They ended up collecting at the UN $10 billion. And this deadbeat Anthony Rodham goes to the Clinton Foundation meeting where he meets other vampires like the Newmont Mining and other mining companies who want to move the Haitian people away, move the Haitian people out of the way, use the UN troops and the U.S. military to take over Haiti mining. So these mining companies go to the Clinton Foundation to try to get Clinton backing. Clinton backing means getting UN backing. UN backing means that the United Nations, who's supposed to be a neutral human rights organization, goes into Haiti, allows its logo, its planes, its trucks, and its uniforms to be used to secure the interests of the corporatocracy and the miners. So the mining companies go to the Clinton Foundation. Then they meet this deadbeat Anthony Rodham, who says, "Oh, that's my sister. I can call her. I can do whatever." So that mining company gives Anthony Rodham a place as their board of directors and some money. He goes and peddles the influence of his sister, and presto, you have Anthony Rodham has somebody gifted him supposedly 10 acres of Haitian land. In addition, he is part of a mining company that has gotten the first mining license for 50 years in Haiti to mine our gold.
Wow.
So that's what is going on.
Well, President Obama is the first ever U.S. president to chair the United Nations on that Security Council you spoke of earlier. I found that real interesting. Layla had discovered that a few weeks ago. First U.S. president to chair the United Nations.
What you mean to chair, you said?
Yes, chair of the United Nations.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Yep. Yeah. All right, I got another caller. Let me go. Well, I don't. All right. I don't. Everybody got off. Okay.
Thank you so much, sister. You're just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my sister.
Sister Èzili, this is Layla. Thank you for being here. I wanted to inquire about the woman that you talked about who just signed that agreement on behalf of the mercenaries that you talk about. What is it? Can you just elaborate a little bit more about what this agreement is for, and what is it that the company does? Because wasn't she like a lieutenant for the Israeli military? If you'll just elaborate a little bit more about that.
Right. Okay, I will try. Thank you, Sister Layla, and thank you for connecting me to this radio station. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right. Her name is Eva Perled. If you guys want to look on my website, I don't know what I call it, but it's something about the barbarians inside and outside of Haiti and Eva Perled. All right. So we know that elections, whether they're in the United States or whether in Haiti, okay, are all about giving you the illusion of inclusion. Because at the end of the day, the cabal, the criminals, are not going to give up any real power. So in Haiti, while these elections are going on, October 25th elections, now remember Haiti hasn't had elections for 5 years. We have a U.S. imported president that was put into office by Hillary Clinton, who put him in office. He was a carnival king, really a degenerate man. They put him in because they had so much on him because he was a crack dealer. You know, this is the stuff. You know, it's like Sean Penn, right? This guy is like, Madonna has something to say about his abuse and all of that stuff, right? But all of a sudden he's a savior of Haiti. But that's what they do. So essentially, what we have found out about Eva Perled is that, so how did I come to even be concerned about this woman, this white blonde chick? I always look to see what they're doing. So on October 23rd, 2015, a agreement was signed between the puppet Haitian government under occupation and this group called HLLN, right? And I couldn't figure out what the HLLN mean, HLSI, because, so we started looking and researching. We turned out it was Israel Homeland Security. Like, what the hell is the Haiti doing, signing a border surveillance agreement, land, air, and sea, with Israel Homeland Security? And so we start researching this woman, Eva Perled, and find out that she was a former lieutenant of the Israeli military. We find out that she also is CEO or some officer of this thing called the Matrelli Group. And then we find out that the Matrelli Group and GeoMinds, she is an executive at two groups, one called the Matrelli Group, the other one called GeoMinds. Now remember, at that border and all around our coastal areas, the Europeans want those areas. They want to move the Africans away from those areas, So we're looking at this woman. We find out what she's doing. We learn that her company has been in Angola. Remember, Angola is one of the chief producers of oil in Africa. And if you ever seen the movie called Avatar, you ever see the woman that Sigourney Weaver actress plays, then think about Eva Perled. That's who she is. So she's this blonde chick who is the front for the Israeli Mossad, Israeli former military, Israeli sort of executive outcome military mercenaries who goes around the universe, around the planet, capitalizing on chaos so that they can take over your resources as payment for their services as military. That's basically what it is. So the more we learn about her, the more we find that GeoMind is a company she's the head of, and GeoMinds has this technology where it could find metal landmines under the earth. So, of course, if you can find metal landmines under the earth, you can also find gold under the earth. So they have this amazing amount of technology. They are going to be at Haiti's borders. Their whole purpose really is to deal with the mountains of gold and the mountains of resources that Haiti have, both in land, air, and like under the ocean. We have lots of stuff. So that's what Eva Perled that we have come to learn is about. She is the president of GeoMinds. She is the CEO of some company named, or VP of some company named Matrelli Group. And then we find that at some point in 2013, I can't remember the exact date, but this Matrelli Group, which is connected to Eva Perled, gave to the Clinton Global Initiative something like $24 million. So now we know why they're in Haiti.
Okay, great. I got a couple of questions, so I'm going to get in. We got a couple of callers, and let me bring in the next caller.
Bonsoir, madame. You said you were blacklisted during... You said you were blacklisted during Jean-Bertrand Aristide's presidency. Are you now welcome into Haiti? And is your movement active and alive there, or is it only in the U.S.?
Say that again. Is my movement?
Is it active and alive in Haiti, or is it only in the U.S.? Are you welcome back into Haiti?
I am both in Haiti. We have Èzili Dantò in Haiti. I work both in Haiti and the United States.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for the question. All right. Let's go to 609-0671. You're on Thor Radio. Did you have a question?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. How you doing? I'm
I'm doing well.
That room. I have a question. I have a real what you call rational question. There's a lot of criminal activity that has been going on planet Earth, and my question to the woman, I actually didn't catch her name, but she sounds very educated, knowledgeable on some of that has been going on, as current events, especially pertaining to Haiti. Now, my question to her as an informed individual about is, do you think there's more criminals on the earth than there are honorable people?
Okay. Do I think there's – I just want to make sure I understand what you ask. Thank you for the question. Do I think there's more criminals on planet Earth than honest people? Is that the question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that is the question.
I don't know how to answer that. I think that I think that human nature tends to try to be good. And I think that nature is taken advantage of by evil.
Okay, all right, I'll accept that, but then I'm going to reframe the question. What, in the terms that you have made. If there's more honest people on the planet Earth, how are the criminals in control?
Say again, how are the criminals?
If the majority of people on Earth are honest, how are the criminals in control?
Well, this is the thing. Like I said, I think that people are more likely to be led. See, I'm not the type of person that goes into this like Christian evil and good, but
I'm not even.
This is what I've experienced in my life. Okay, I've experienced that most people tend to go with the status quo because it's easier and more comfortable.
So you think that's a choice, or you think people are forced to do that?
I think it's comfortable. I think people are comfortable, like they don't want to be hurt, so they're comfortable with, they're just comfortable with it. I don't want to use the word like good and evil, but they are evil though. There are people who actually manipulate the nature of the larger society. Just for instance, okay, what we call Najoki, which is the evil forces of empire, for instance. They have to put together this media in front of you where if you put on the TV, like I haven't watched TV for 20 years, but when I'm at the gym, for instance, and I watched it, right, I cannot believe what I'm seeing, right? It's all these white people and all their like ridiculous and lies. The whole Kardashian. You understand? So people are riveted. So when you study, so they study this nature that we have to try to get along and not feel pain, and they abuse it.
Just adding on to what you said, which is reasonable, rational. If you personally, you don't accept the images that you're seeing, and if the majority of people are accepting,
but I was born of a different line.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not questioning your integrity or anything. I'm just talking about.
No. I know you're not, brother. I'm not saying you are.
The reality of the situation that we have on planet Earth. Because I have this discuss. I have to. I'm in therapy right now, and one of the things that I talk to about with my therapist is about how my distresses are caused by the overall culture that we have on planet Earth, and that how I do not agree with that culture. So when you start talking about crimes against humanity, etc., and so forth, I can actually relate to what you're saying, but from a rational, objective perspective, you have to look at either there's more criminals than honest people, or the honest people are just accepting what the criminals are selling them. And if that be the case, then whose fault is it that we're in the situation that we're in? I mean, when you elect a politician, do you hold them accountable? We can make them sign contracts, and if they don't abide by that contract, then by operation of law, it shouldn't be what they call a hearing to have them impeached. It should be automatic. When you did something against the people, you did something against the Congress, so they can tell whatever story they want, talk slick they want to get elected. Your life is in my hands. My life or our lives are in their hands. So that being the case, it's the simplest thing that we can do as a collective body of people that are supposed to be the majority is say we're not going to accept being raped anymore by objecting to. It doesn't have anything to do with skin color. There was millions of people that were. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't. Because if you look at the Europeans, they enslaved their own people. They put their own people. If you look at history, and I'm not trying to justify it, but it doesn't matter if you live in a community with a bunch of people that are different, whether it be eye color or hair color or skin color. For some strange reason, humanity has a tendency to outcast people that they perceive as different and take advantage of weaker people. And it doesn't matter who's at the head of the demon or the dragon or the rapist, whatever you want to call it. It's a spiritual mindset that we have on earth that allows for people to be oppressed. Men oppressing women or lighter skinned people oppressing black people. At the end of the day, it's all about what we are accepting as a global community.
All right, brother, I got to cut you off there. We're almost out of time. I appreciate it. It was some great commentary. All right, brother. Appreciate it. All right, we coming to the last minute. We never know when Blog Talk is going to cut us off early or let us go to the last minute. But listen, it was a fantastic show. Sister Èzili Dantò, I really appreciate you being here. You are always invited to come back. That was a great history lesson, an esoterical lesson, as well as a spiritual combination and element to it. We bid you peace and elevation in what you're doing. We have a pretty broad audience and diverse, and my team is also composed of diversity, and we all enjoyed it. And we know that we can talk about things on, for lack of a better word, a color scale, and know that who we're talking about are those who are in power and not the average Joe Blow. There's a lot of good people out there of all colors and cultures, but we have to be able to respect each other's pains and struggles. And right now it's a struggle for the darker community in many ways, because everything is being taken away, hidden, turned around, made opaque and dark. And you've definitely added some illumination to that, and we appreciate you coming here. Your website and all your information is out there. They have it. We sent it out on the chat, and we'll also send it out on the email to our thousands of listeners that listens to Thor. So we appreciate you being here. Did you have any last remarks?
No, Brother Sharif, I just want to thank you for having me. I want to thank Sister Layla and the other sister that talked to me today and everyone who asked questions. And just to say that, you know, if you're looking for folks who are actually fighting this system, then you need to participate in the Free Haiti movement, the Èzili Network. Come join us, become a warrior, subscribe, make a donation, and come learn and come teach. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Peace and blessings. I want to thank everybody for joining us on Thor Lounge and Club today. I appreciate my brothers, True Freeman, Greg Doss, the Young Masters, for joining us in the dialogue. We'll be on next week, next Friday. We'll definitely be here tomorrow for class, Tuesday for the Vet Show, Wednesday for Woman Re-Elevated, and Thursday for your spiritual teachings with Brother Francis. I want to thank all of you for coming, those in the chat, those who participated, those who were just here in spirit, and those who are supportive of Thor Radio Network dealing with diversity. I want to thank all of you, from Brother Sharif, the pre-mortal character, the creator of Thor Ministry. We say peace and elevation, and we will see you next week.